The Super Speedway Podcast is a Dream Bigger media production. For news, photos, show notes, and information about advertising on the podcast, visit www.thesuperspeedway.com.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 127 of the Super Speedway Podcast, recorded Wednesday, September 25th, 2019. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I am joining my co-host, James Cush. James.
Eric.
I got the intro right this week.
You did, man. You nailed it. Well, you wrote it this week.
Yeah, I did.
You wrote it, and
I did.
We are a day late and $1 short this week, but
Yeah.
we have the lights on.
Lights are on.
We're getting better at this impromptu doing this thing at the kitchen table.
Right. If people only knew, like, I get here and it's a whirlwind of, well, Ellie,
Yeah.
your daughter,
Yeah.
and
Eric's her best friend now.
yeah, and setting up all the equipment and running cables all across James's dining room, and
I think you set up the podcast tonight, and I don't know how. I don't even know if you said 10 words. Ellie talked the entire time.
somehow I think I plugged everything in because it seems to be working. It seems to be recording properly. The music
good.
went over, so I think we're good.
Yeah. So yeah, jeez, oh man, it's like craziness in our house all the time.
Yeah.
My gosh, this is what our fourth or fifth one here.
I've
So,
lost track now,
yeah,
so
it's all blur, man.
we're approaching numbers that I can no longer count to anymore. I was an English major, so. But I was trying to come up with a spin and win transition in there. I just couldn't do it.
No, listen, we're tired.
Yeah.
It's late in the season.
Mm-hmm.
We're grinding.
It's late in the evening.
It's
for,
late in
for
the evening.
James. It's 8:48.
Yep.
PM.
I am ready for bed. It's an hour past my bedtime. So yeah, we're just trying to make it every week. I think I say that every week now, but man, we're just trying to survive.
Yeah. There's light at the end of the tunnel, though.
There is.
All
And
right.
we got some good stuff to talk about this week.
Yes, we
though.
do. All kinds of stuff. So let's get to it. Federated Auto Parts 400 Richmond Raceway. Martin Truex Jr. recovers from a spin, passes teammate Kyle Busch late in the race, and gets the win. 2 in a row for Truex, the only driver to win so far in the playoffs this year.
First time he's ever won 2 races in a row.
That's true. That's right.
Which is an interesting fact. With all the races he's won, he's
Right.
kind of been the guy since 2016.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
yeah, I mean that's crazy that him and Cole Pern have not won back to back, but that and he hadn't until 2019 hadn't won on a short track in his career.
Right.
Now he's knocked a couple of those off his bucket
both
list.
at Richmond.
Yep, knocked out 2 Richmond races. He seems to like this track. He likes it so much he does burnouts during the race and then comes back and takes the lead.
Right, and it was Stenhouse who wrecked him, right?
Stenhouse locked him up heading into turn 4. We're going to probably
foreshadowing there, maybe.
We're going to talk a little bit about Ricky in a little bit here. But he got dumped, and I mean, he just had the car to beat all night anyway. I mean,
Right.
I don't even know what there is to talk about. He did make the late pass, and Kyle Busch did lead the most laps. But I'm sure you've probably heard Kyle Busch's post-race comments. I sense a little frustration in Kyle.
Yeah.
But also a sense of confidence as well. Like he's not that far off.
Right.
Like they really made a lot of improvements after what happened in Vegas.
I would
He's
say,
come up.
seeing his post-race interview on NBC, he probably was the most gracious second-place finisher in his career he's
yeah.
ever been.
Yeah.
Usually he's pretty ticked off being
Yeah.
second place, but he seemed to be still pretty happy with the fact that they finished there.
I mean, he flat out said we were outperformed. He said the combination of the driver and the team.
Right.
And I don't know if that was a kind of a shot or if it was more of a we just need to be better, guys.
Right.
And I mean, Truex and Pern and Busch and Stevens, those are the best combos in the sport right now, right? I mean, Harvick and Childers, and then that's about it.
Yeah,
If you think about crew chief driver combos, these are the guys.
Yeah, definitely.
The apex.
And so I have a question with this. With Truex getting the win, he's won twice now in the playoffs. We're going to a
2 for 2.
track that he
Should have won last year.
basically won until the last corner last year, and,
Yep.
and Jimmy did
Arguably
Jimmy Johnson things.
Arguably the best road course racer in the series right now.
I would say so.
He's pretty close.
So how big of a favorite is Martin Truex right now for the championship? I mean, I know things can fluctuate.
I mean, he's
but
definitely got this round. I mean, he's the driver of the round. He's
Is he
locked
going to
it up.
sweep the round?
The Roval's pretty wild. It's pretty much a wild card. I don't know.
Is it though?
Yeah, I think
Because
it
I don't
is.
think it was that much of a wild card last
I
year.
don't know. I mean, it got wild there pretty at the end.
I guess you can't say it was a wild card because the guy who won the race was not
The guy
on
who was
anybody's
supposed to win.
radar at all.
And the guy who was leading the race kind of wasn't really leading the race most of the race. It was
Right.
Larson and Keselowski,
True.
and there was a lot of
And then Jimmy Johnson almost won the race, which
shit. Yeah,
that-
it was
when's,
crazy.
When's the last time that
Yeah,
happened?
it was crazy. I would say Truex is the favorite, though. No doubt. I mean, he's got nothing to
Feels
lose.
like every week the favorite is different.
Yeah, I know. He's
Which
got.
I love it.
It's been great. He's got that team has literally nothing to worry about. They have no weight on their shoulders. They can go into this race and just try to get that Roval win. They're in great shape. They've racked up even more playoff points for the next round.
Right.
I mean, they are sitting pretty and as pretty as you can get right now. So,
I think if you can,
the confidence is probably high.
If you can be a favorite in this system, then Truex would be the favorite. Right
Yeah,
now.
I'd say so. Yeah. The way he ran Vegas, and now shoot, if he goes and wins Vegas, Richmond, and the road course, the one road course that's in the playoffs, he's pretty much covered the playoffs minus
Right.
Talladega. So,
That's true.
He's that team. They have won races throughout the year. We didn't really see them as dominant. They started kind of slow, right?
Mm-hmm.
But once they started picking up steam, though, slow for them.
I don't know. I mean, wow. Can you hear?
I can't hear you.
Okay. All right. So we had a technical difficulty. I think we got it fixed.
Yeah, minor technical difficulty.
Yeah. So
And it wasn't my fault this time.
it was not James's fault.
Usually it is.
Now you seem louder.
That's all right.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll settle back in. We were in a groove and now we're not. But
Yeah.
that's okay. That's the way it usually goes.
So I was going to ask before my microphone crapped out on me. So you said Truex started off slow, but did he start off slow or did Kyle Busch just start off that good?
Yeah.
And Denny Hamlin started off that good that we've kind of forgot about Truex.
I feel like the 19 team needed a month or two to get themselves, acclimated to being in North Carolina for lack of a better terminology. But because they were on an island over there in Colorado.
Yeah.
And when they brought the team over to be the 19 team, I think it just took them a little bit. But, now they know exactly what's going into those Gibbs cars, and Gibbs knows what's going into those
Right.
19 cars now. So it's weird, but I think I just feel like they're hitting on all cylinders now, and maybe it's one of those things where the playoffs show up and these teams, the cream rises to the top, right? It's the best of the best, and Truex and Pern have been the class of the field since 2016. So
Right. And it'll be interesting to see between Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch how quick they get that information that Truex has.
Yeah.
Because they aren't keeping it secret anymore.
No.
I mean, they shared everything before,
Yeah.
but you could still tuck some stuff under the corner over here.
Yeah.
But not when you're in the same shop.
No, not in the same shot. And I feel like I had heard that they are really good about sharing information during races as well.
Okay.
So these guys know pretty much exactly what's going on, unless Cole's hide something. But
Right.
I doubt that that's the way it is. I think you come under the banner and you're there. But
Yeah.
it's going to get super competitive. Gibbs. I know they had the disqualification. We'll talk about that with Jones, but they went 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
When has that ever happened?
It's never happened for Gibbs before. It's happened with Stuart Haas before, and that's it.
Yep. And Hendrick had a couple of 1, 2, 3s.
Yeah.
Numerous 1, 2, 3s.
Yep.
But yeah, they went 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't count in the record book now. But
Right.
But dang, man, whatever they're doing over there, Gibbs is getting stronger, and the playoffs are getting shorter.
Yep.
So
Definitely. So let's talk about that. We had our first disqualification in the Cup Series. Correct? That was the first disqualification.
I believe that was the first one. Yeah.
Yes. Eric Jones. So I had to look it up because NASCAR doesn't have the penalty report on their site, but they do have a story on their website. Let's see. The 20 entry failed its pass through the optical scanning station, and the issue dealt with the car's rear wheel alignment. He indicated inspectors did not find a part designed to fail to gain an advantage during the race, blah, blah, blah. So Eric Jones went from, the story coming out of this race was, holy cow, the back half of the playoffs, the bubble is huge because everybody's in it.
Yeah,
Here comes Eric Jones, who was out. He was done, and now he battles back, and he was like 6 points out.
Yeah,
or
he was
something
4
like
or
that.
6 points out. Yeah, he was in contention. The thing we had talked about last
Right.
week was we're like, don't count Jones out yet. It's a big
Right.
gap, but
Now
he puts a
can
good
you count
run.
Jones out.
Yeah.
He gained 1 point on the day. Got 1 point, and that's all.
Yeah, and he lost all of his stage points. So when you get disqualified, you don't get your stage points either.
Right.
And that's where he made up a ton of ground too. Was he had some good stage runs.
So Eric Jones is 45 points out now. I think
it's win or go home.
Yeah, definitely. I've lost my mic again.
That's weird.
Huh. All right, technical difficulties again. Hopefully we have it figured out this time. So Eric Jones basically has to win.
Yeah, it's a win or go. Yeah, win or go home now. Man, it sucks because he did have a good year this year, regardless of what happens now. But man, he problems at Vegas, not his fault. Disqualification at Richmond, not his fault.
Right.
The team's fault or whatever happened there, whatever they were doing. That sucks because I thought he was a legit contender. He can run anywhere with anybody, right? And he's been pretty solid all year. I felt like he was at least an 8th in points driver.
Yeah.
At the worst. Now he's done. I mean, we were
all he's got to do is come in and win the Roval, man.
Got to win the Roval.
All he's got to do.
Yeah. I mean, that's
I think Jones hasn't really been historically good at road courses, has he?
He did run well at Watkins Glen. I think he got a top 5 there. Actually, let me look at that really quick. I can tell you. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, 4th place, Watkins Glen. So I take that for what it's worth. I mean, Chase Elliott dominated that whole race, so
right.
It is what it is. But again, it'd be his first road course win. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Long shot, dude.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I don't know.
I'm pulling up because we actually have stats from the road course now. So where did Jones finish last year? Oh, he was way back last year at the Roval. So.
Yeah.
But that doesn't. I mean, it was one race. So
yeah, one race in, and it was all brand new last year too. So throw the stats out the window for the most part coming into this year.
Right. So any other big storylines coming out of Richmond? I think it was a pretty calm race.
The Austin Dillon, Alex Bowman thing was kind of.
You're gonna have to feel okay. So I'll make a confession here on the podcast. I did not watch the race. I had a hockey game Saturday night. Came home and decided I'll catch. It's like, well, I'll watch the highlights. I don't know if I can get through the whole race. We had stuff going on Sunday, and then as I'm driving home, it's like, oh shoot, it's 10 o'clock at night. I should be able to watch the end. So I flipped it on. There was 50 to go. So I listened to it on Sirius until I got back to home, and then watched the last 20 laps on YouTube. So
that's the way it goes, man. We're busy.
Yeah. So fill me in on the.
I've watched highlights of races many times this year, and not full races.
This is the first Cup race I have not at least watched and skipped through parts.
You didn't miss much.
Yeah,
man.
I could tell. That's why I wasn't.
Richmond has definitely lost its luster as the action track.
Right. And it's funny because Saturday's race looked really good, or Friday's race looked really good.
Yeah, Friday
the
and
Xfinity
Saturday,
cars were all over the track and running multiple lanes and stuff. So.
We just need to get that old sealer back on there.
Yeah, maybe.
Be done with
I don't know. The sealer was garbage too.
Whatever. We got to figure something out.
Let's put some more banking in that track.
Something.
That's what we need.
Something. Yeah, they're too spread out. Yeah, so the only other really interesting thing was the Bowman and Dillon thing, and there was some contact, and there was some silver spoon being said, and then there was more crew chief retaliation being told, and that whole thing. So,
all right.
I mean, not too much. Maybe keep an eye on it. Bowman's in the playoffs, so he needs to not screw around with Austin Dillon. Just leave it be, make an apology, and move on. Especially because he's only 2 points out of the cutoff. So, other than that, not much action to be had. We talked about Stenhouse and Truex, and there you go.
There you go.
I mean, that's Richmond. I mean, really, we're looking ahead.
Right.
We got the Roval coming up. We're chomping at the bit.
I'm excited about the Roval this weekend. Playoffs look really interesting going into the Roval. We've got basically
everybody's in except Jones right now. Everybody's got a shot.
Yeah. Kyle Larson's looking pretty good. 25 points to the good in 8th place.
Yep.
And then Ryan Newman, 14. He moved
I like
a
that.
lot. He moved a lot because he was way out. I mean, he wasn't way out, but position-wise, he was way out.
Can you explain Ryan Newman to me?
No. Yeah, I tell you what, I can explain him. He raced Ricky Stenhouse right out of a job.
Yeah, you and I texted about that earlier. Yeah, he came in and performed, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I can't put this into words, really, what he's done this year. It's special.
Yeah, it is.
It's a special season for him.
It really is. It really is. I'd almost like to see what Newman could have done in a competitive car
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he was going to come out and win a bunch of races.
No, it's weird. He had, when he was with Stuart Haas, they were pretty good. Those were good cars he was running. I mean, Stuart won the championship, and he was there right up until the year before Harvick got there. So
sometimes it's more than just the driver, though, too.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think there's ever been a debate. Newman's not a bad driver.
No.
He's older now, and so I think people forget that he could drive.
Yeah, and people forget, too, Kevin Harvick, when he came over, he brought Rodney Childers. That was a package deal. Rodney wasn't there before Newman, so that was a whole new thing they had going on, and lots of success. But, I think he'll be remembered for his early years. He was really good, really fast, and then he dropped off. But his run in 2014, where he finished second in points, was this is what he's doing now. He's doing it again.
Yep.
It's weird. I mean,
could you see a scenario that Ryan Newman won the championship this year?
No, but I see him. I could see him getting into the round of 8 somehow.
Yeah.
If he played
I don't think
it
there's
safe.
any way he gets to the 4. He's
He
got to
can't
win to get to the 4.
If you're going to get to the 4, you got to be pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And they're not damn good, but they are. I mean, what
Consistent.
he's done.
He's just consistent.
And he's out racing his stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about that with Kyle Larson, and a lot of these guys, outperform the stuff that they're under.
Right.
And I mean, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable run. I mean, kudos to Ryan Newman. What a year. What a year.
Definitely. Eric Almirola, William Byron, +3, +2.
Yeah, pick them at this point. That's basically where we're at.
Same with Alex Bowman, Clint Boyer outside.
It's all.
Alex Bowman's -2, Clint Boyer's -4. Kurt Busch is -14, which I believe is -14 last week.
Yeah, he didn't hardly move.
So he's pretty uncomfortable there.
Yeah, but 14's not a lot. I mean, we saw Jones make that up.
Yeah,
real quick.
Yeah, he has to perform well on the stages to do it. But he'll
be good. He's a good road course racer.
Yeah.
So he'll be good.
Yeah.
I think he will come to the Roval, and Kurt Busch in a must-win situation, dude.
Yeah,
He's
I like
Kurt
Kurt Busch in that situation.
Yeah. But two guys, you loved Kurt Busch in the playoffs. You and I both loved Eric Jones in the playoffs, and both of these guys are at the bottom of the barrel, which is weird. We did not expect them to be in the position that they're in.
Right.
I think we kind of felt like Boyer and Bowman. I think we have those. I don't have my playoff sheet in front of me, but we kind of expected those guys to fall out earlier than most. But
how long after Boyer falls out does the announcement come that he's not coming back next year?
He's coming back. I don't think he's leaving.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I think Rush Truck Center's already put the kibosh on him leaving.
I don't know.
It hasn't been said out in person. I think it's the 41. That's where the movement's going to come.
I think so, too. I agree with you. I don't know, though. One of those two's going. We'll talk about that more in a minute when we talk about silly season. Well, let's do it. Let's talk about silly season right now. So we got the big breaking news today, which I think, you were talking up pretty good on text message with me today that you called this one.
I did.
And I'll give you credit for that, but I still feel like this was unexpected.
It was. It still is unexpected.
I mean, these guys, I'm pretty sure Stenhouse just signed a re-up
He's
contract.
got a deal through 2021, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe sponsorship, they just signed something too. So we weren't really thinking this was going to happen.
No. So here's referencing my tweet with Bob Pockris last week. We had a chain going, a buddy of mine and Bob, and I had made some comments that Chris Buescher made some comments about negotiating and how these guys are all on 1-year deals. I'm like,
right.
Well, Chris Buescher would be a great spot in that 17 car, and I kind of mentioned that, and Bob Pockris said that's not happening. 37, they're happy with Buescher. I'm like, oh, well, Bob knows. Then dang it, I was wrong.
It's nice when Bob gets beat on something.
I know. That's the second time I've gotten
It's
Bob,
amazing Bob doesn't know something that's going on.
Yeah. So anyway, I tweeted at Bob again today, but I didn't hear it back. So I was kind of hoping I did. All I did was I went back to our tweet conversation from last week, our thread, and I just said, "Hey guys, can we revisit this?" And my buddy Derek actually got back to me, and Derek said the same thing you did. He said this was still unexpected, came out of nowhere, and it totally did, came out of nowhere.
Yeah. This was more out of nowhere than DiBenedetto to the 21.
Yeah.
I mean,
we saw some sniffing around on that one,
too.
You
actually kind of almost have to be excited about the fact that this is two silly season things now that we didn't know was going to happen.
This is great. And Hemrick. I mean, we kind of knew.
Yeah, Hemrick's not a big
Reddick
surprise.
Reddick was coming, but we didn't think. I mean, Hemrick on a 1-year rookie deal.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah, man. What does that say for a rookie coming up? You got to, I mean, if you're not Christopher Bell,
Yeah.
or an Eric Jones or one of these guys.
A Byron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to perform
You
that
gotta
first
perform
year
right
now,
now.
which
Yeah.
is crazy because when is the last time anybody performed in their first year in the Cup Series now?
It's not been many.
We were talking about it a few podcasts ago. That was
Chase
back
Elliott didn't perform his first year.
We're talking back when Tony Stewart came up was the last time we really saw a lot
Stewart
of it. Jimmy
and Johnson.
Yeah.
Casey Kane was a
Right.
good rookie.
Yeah. Most of these guys don't do that in their rookie year
Yeah,
anymore.
they don't run that way. They just
So-
don't. They just don't. Ryan Newman was a good rookie.
Yeah.
And it was him and Johnson. Remember? And
Yep.
Newman won the Rookie of the Year. What a flashback
I know,
that
right?
is. But
I remember Newman, I think it was his first Cup start. He ran the 02 car at Charlotte, and he just took off. I think it was like the Coke 600 or whatever. Just took off, and he was flying way out ahead and just looped it off a four, wrecked right in front of the field. It's like, yeah, this guy's going to be good when he gets his stuff under him.
yeah, and he was fast, man.
Yeah,
Those
he
Penske
was.
Fords he was running back then were really fast.
Yep.
Um,
So anyway, I don't know if we actually said what the breaking news was.
the breaking news is
Ricky
go ahead.
Stenhouse Jr. is out of the 17 at the end of the year. Chris Buescher will come over to that car.
Yep.
Um,
And to be noted, though, Roush Fenway had a retainer on Buescher. They could have pulled him in any time. He was on loan to JTG at Doherty. And
I'm glad I'm not the only one who
I
can't
know,
pronounce
I can't
that.
pronounce it. JTG Doherty Racing. And then Front Row Motorsports, he ran for for one season. That's where he won his Pocono race
Yeah.
in the 34
yeah.
car or whatever.
But it's interesting because there was just a tweet or just a news article on J-Ski that it was expected that everything was going to stay the same at JT blah, 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 blah.
Good
at
try.
that team. At the Kroger
Well,
team.
yeah, you've
We'll just call
got
it the Kroger
Buescher.
team.
You've got Buescher, who we've talked about him recently. He's been having a dang fine year.
Yeah.
I mean, a good year. That team's building their own cars. They're making some moves. And then they've got Priest, the rookie, who's he's a typical rookie. He's having a okay year.
Right.
JTD, I gotta fly. That team's not gonna be out there impressing anybody, but Buescher's been good. And I think Fenway looks at Stenhouse, he's been the most wrecked car the last 3 seasons in Cup and 4 out of his last 6 seasons.
So
He wrecks more cars than anybody,
Yeah.
and it's not close.
yeah, you're right.
And Roush Fenway probably looked at it and said, "You can get Chris Buescher to do that. He can at least not wreck cars,
Right.
if anything, right?"
Yep. So Stenhouse go anywhere or is he done?
I think he'll find some spot.
Think so?
Somebody will take him. One of those lower level teams will take him.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, he may go to the 37. That 37 seat's open now, and maybe they want a veteran driver in there.
Right.
I mean, Stenhouse, he might be costly for you.
Stenhouse is somebody who can get you.
Well,
He's got
and
4 chances at a win every year.
What do you think on that 37 car now? Who do they go after? Do you do what Roush Fenway did and go get somebody like a Ryan Newman?
Okay, so let me give you one here. So, and I'm referencing back to some Facebook messages between you and I and anonymous person that we won't name.
We can't
for
name him
reasons,
anymore. Yeah.
For reasons that
It's got to get it cleared with HR first.
yeah, for reasons we can't share. But somebody, I think it was you, mentioned Ross Chastain going somewhere. Or was it him that mentioned? Ross
I
Chastain?
think Ross Chastain goes somewhere.
So here's my thing.
But I
with
don't know
Ross
where
Chastain,
exactly where.
because we were talking Stuart Haas. Chastain is pretty much a Chip Ganassi driver, right? Chevrolet. 37 cars of Chevrolet.
There you go.
Maybe.
He's got what? Not quite 100 Cup starts.
Yeah.
So he's
that'd
been
be
around
a good
while.
driver to stick in that car.
Could be a good driver. It may be a little bit of a risk, but it'd be an upgrade for him. He'd be definitely an equipment upgrade.
Be an upgrade for him. I think it'd be an upgrade for the team.
Nice
maybe?
little alliance with
Maybe.
Ganassi.
Yeah.
Could be a good deal there. I think that's probably the best fit. But remember, you've got Daniel Hemrick out there too.
True.
But do you want 2 second-year drivers as your
Right.
lineup?
True.
Probably not. You probably want to stick with Priest
And
find somebody else.
I'm trying to remember. JTG Doherty has. Are they aligned with Hendrick this year? Or are they still with Childress?
Not Childress.
I feel like they're with Hendrick this
Yeah.
year. I think they have some deal with.
Yeah, but they're
Hendrick.
making their own bodies. I think they're running.
Yeah,
Hendrick
they're doing a lot
Hendrick
of their own.
motors, but they're making their own. They're doing their own bodies now.
Yeah.
So that was the big thing that they've made the switch to.
Right. Okay. So we had that one. There was that news, and then there was the even more unexpected news this week. We were completely blindsided and shocked by the announcement that Christopher Bell is going to the 95 car next year with Levine Family Racing.
Ooh.
Yeah, like nobody.
shock.
We go from the one that nobody saw coming
Oh,
to the
and
one that
did you-
everybody saw coming.
Did you see it coming that Joe Gibbs Racing is going to up their support of the 95
Yeah,
as well.
right? I know.
I
It's
was blown.
just-
I was like, oh, they're going to bring Christopher Bell and up the support
Quite
too?
a shock.
Jeez, I didn't see that
Completely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been talking about that for a couple of weeks. Knew it was going to happen.
coming. Yeah, Bell.
It's finally
I mean,
official
It
now.
makes sense. Get Bell in.
Yep.
And then when Hamlin retires or whatever, you move him over to Gibbs.
Yep.
You do that. You do the Eric Jones deal, and you bring him over.
Yep.
Whether that's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever that is.
Exactly.
That 95 is going to be good next year, though. It's going to be better.
Yeah, it is.
And speaking of guys who wreck, Stenhouse, he wrecks a lot. Christopher Bell wrecks a lot in the Xfinity Series, so he's got a little bit.
Yeah.
He's going to have to do some growing. I think there's going to be a little bit of growing pains for him, but he's going to be fast.
So I'll be interested
He'll be
to
fast.
see if Joe Gibbs can do the same thing for Levine that they did for Furniture Row.
I don't know.
If Levine Family Racing becomes a team that can win now as a result.
I don't know. I mean, they might win a race, but that Furniture Row team became Planets Aligned Shooting Star Special.
Right. Well, let me make a prediction.
That was Cole Pern. That was an institution right there.
I'll make a 2020 prediction now and say that Christopher Bell does not win a Cup race next year.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
Okay.
I think it's too tough
It's so
to
hard
win in
to
your
Cup.
rookie season, to be able to do it with. I know it's an affiliated team. I guarantee you those cars probably won't even sit in the Levine Family Racing shop. They'll sit in the Joe Gibbs shop.
Possibly, yeah.
But it's too tough for a lower end team to do that.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But
Yeah,
we'll
no,
see.
it's gonna be some growing pains there. But I
think
expect him to
Bell's
be
gonna
fast.
wreck some cars next year.
Oh yeah, he's gonna wreck some cars, but he's gonna show some promise too.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be like
I'm not saying he's gonna have a terrible season.
no,
I just don't think he wins.
He's good. I mean, we're high on Jones. Not as high on Chase Elliott, but Chase Elliott's a dang fine
and
driver.
I am high on Christopher Bell. Like,
Yeah, me
don't
too.
get me wrong. I think
too.
I've talked about it on the podcast. I think he's at a level. I mean, I'm high on Eric Jones, and I think Bell is a level above
Yeah.
Eric Jones.
yeah.
So
I think Jones has just been on a little
Jones
bit.
is the better bet.
Yeah,
still.
he's younger.
Yeah.
But he's had a different trajectory as well.
They've made the right decision.
Bell
at Joe
stayed
Gibbs right
down
now.
longer and
Yeah.
has built more of a minor league resume.
Right.
Than
That is true.
Jones
because
fast tracked it a little bit.
Bell may come up and be a better fit for the Cup Series now because of the time he spent down there.
Yep, and they're running lower horsepower now.
Yeah,
with the
it,
motor.
it might be less of a learning curve for him than others.
Could be.
so.
Could be. We'll see. We got
Interesting.
we got a long way to go yet, but I mean, guys are falling into spots. They're falling into the right spots.
Right.
We've got a ton of. I mean, every year we talk about young talent coming in. It's just even more.
So where else are we looking? We know we haven't heard anything official on Kurt Busch yet.
Nope, but
Probably
sounds
won't
like
till the end of the year.
he's coming back.
It does.
It sounds like he's coming back.
Yeah, Ganassi's not going to kick him out.
Somebody's leaving Stuart Haas. We don't know what. I think
Do we
the 41.
know? I mean, do we really know? I mean, would we be completely shocked if nobody left Stuart Haas next year?
I wouldn't be shocked. I would say I'm 75% sure there's going to be a seat open there.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't see them towing the line with what they have.
No,
It just-
they've got to be disappointed
To
with
me,
how they
it's-
performed.
It's
this year.
tough to. I know this 1 year deal thing, but it's just tough to have Suarez in there for a year and then just say, no,
Yeah.
you're done.
Yeah,
But when you got Cole Custer waiting to come up,
you've got Cole Custer and he's running well. He's one of the favorites for the
But do you
Xfinity title.
really take a young driver that does have potential in Daniel Suarez
but has
over Clint Boyer?
Yeah, I know. I agree with you there.
I mean, no offense to Clint, but Clint's not doing anything.
No.
He's got maybe a couple more wins in him. That's it.
yeah, and he's not.
He's not going to contend for a title.
No, he's never going to contend for a title. He's never going to enter the upper echelon.
And watch him win the championship
Yeah,
this
I
year.
know,
now.
right? Would you rather stick with Boyer? You paying him probably a little bit more, or would you get Custer in there and try to see what his elevation would
I
be?
guess the other difference is that right now, if you look at Custer's car in the Xfinity Series, it's got a Haas logo on it a lot of times.
So does
Whereas we've got,
Daniel Suarez,
like you
in the
said,
Cup
Rush
Series.
Truck Centers on.
and
on
Boble
Boyer's
and
car, so.
Boyer's got some sponsorship. And Suarez, he's been at it for this is going to be his third full year. He's had a little bit of movement.
Yeah, he's shown some promise, but not to the level I think that any of us expected.
No, I think that championship he won was a little bit smoke and mirrors. That was a
Yeah.
weird championship. Deserved it.
Right.
Under the format, the dude deserved it.
Yep.
I'm not trying to take that away from him. But I think that quickly elevated him, and he wasn't ready to even come into Cup when he did. He
Right.
stepped in for Edwards on his surprise retirement, and
Yeah.
he's made the best of it. He's definitely left some stuff on the table though. Just not quite the promise that I think they would want from him.
Yeah. then again, you got to think to a couple other drivers who got rushed up into the Cup Series and didn't perform off the bat. Joey Logano,
He's
Kevin
the classic
Harvick.
one. Yep.
And look where they are now.
Mm-hmm.
So both of them are champions. So
Yep. Yeah, they figure
hard
it
to
out.
say.
Usually,
There's
usually it's the second stop that really elevates.
Yeah. There's so much
some guys.
talent though that it's hard to keep people around that aren't doing it.
Well, I think it was the person who we can't name on the podcast in our messaging, but he said something that I totally agreed with. I thought it was a great point. With all this talent coming in, the middle of the field gets better.
Yeah.
Which hopefully elevates the top of the field too.
Right.
So we're going to have better racing because we're getting guys like Bell in there. We're getting Chris Buescher back, a little bit better ride, and he seems to be a pretty darn good driver too. So we've got some young guys coming in that are going to hopefully elevate that middle of the pack.
Yeah, credit this person for stating that the middle of the pack is going to be a lot more exciting next year.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's right. It's right. It's true.
It is. It's smart. It's a
Even
smart take.
even if these guys coming up don't end up in the middle of the field, if they end up at the front of the field, there's still going to be those guys that are at the front right now that are going to be in the middle. So either way,
it's
the
good. It
middle
was a
gets
great
better.
point. I wish I would have thought of that. I had to give this person credit.
Yep. Maybe there's a reason he's going where he is. Let's see. A little bit more news. So I think that covers silly season right now, right?
For the moment, yeah. For the moment. Yeah, so we've got, real quick, I'm trying to think. We've got Reddick going to the 8 or whatever number that car will be next year. We've got the 17 is Buescher. 95 is Bell. 21, that is... that's going to be De Benedetto. Yep, De Benedetto. So
Matty D.
Matty D. So now we've got the 37 open. Any other openings?
Got the 37 open. We're still not 100% sure on the 1 because nothing's official.
Yep.
So it's still open technically.
Yep. And then we've got the Stuart Haas possibility.
Yeah.
So there's your big movers so far.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay. Good.
NASCAR announced the 2020 start times and networks for all 3 national series this week. I didn't really get a chance to look at it real close.
You know what stands out to me?
What's that?
There are no 1 o'clock start times.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That is.
I'm
agitated.
I noticed Michigan is 2 and 3 o'clock again.
Ugh.
Which 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock at MIS
3
is
o'clock
bad.
Sucks at Michigan. I'm sorry.
2 o'clock sucks at Michigan.
2 o'clock sucks too.
But with 3
it's
is
just
worse.
So it's just 3 o'clock. You're right in the middle of the day. There's nothing to do in the morning. I'm sorry, but there's not enough activation anymore from what there used to be to keep yourself entertained at the track. So you sit around and wait for this race, and then you get out, and it's freaking dark when you leave the place.
You know what these start times tell me too? They don't care who's in the stands anymore.
They don't.
They don't care about attendance. There could be nobody in the stands.
Well, we kind of proved that a couple times this season.
Oh, for
too,
sure. But yeah, if you're not starting these races at 1, you definitely don't care about fan attendance. That's for sure. Because, I mean, you're just putting a strain on people trying to get to the track and getting home. And,
right.
You know, people don't, a lot of people may not think that people drive a long way to get to these races. You and I don't live, Michigan's our home track, and we're 2.5 hours away?
Right.
So, man, that sucks.
Yeah, other than that, I don't think there's any surprises in here.
I mean, it is weird seeing Homestead in the lineup.
Yeah.
So early. It's weird.
Are they running it at night?
They are running it at 2 p.m. So it's going to be a daytime race at Homestead.
Interesting.
I wish we would have done that.
Yeah, as much as I would want to see the last race rotate, Homestead just feels like it just feels fitting to start and end in Florida. It just does.
Yep.
You know?
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the, so we've gone over the schedule 100 times, but it's also, we're seeing it in print. So on Sunday, July 19th, we race at New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
We wait until August 9th at Michigan. The 3-week break that I know grinds your gears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hate it.
there it is on paper.
I hate it. The only thing that's cool about it is I'll be at the race at Michigan
when it comes
and
back.
Everybody will be so excited to be back at the track.
And NASCAR will be back. Yeah, that will be fun.
Yeah, that'll be good. So otherwise, I hate it. Stupid.
Yeah,
hate it.
Yeah. That's good.
I do see one thing that stands out to me right now as having an over-the-air antenna that we end the season with 5 of the last 6 races on network TV.
Which is awesome. Thank you very much.
That's good.
Talladega, Charlotte, Kansas, and the worst one they put on NBC Sports Network, Texas.
Right, yeah.
So, and then we go Martinsville and ISM to finish it out.
Yeah, I like it.
Awesome.
So,
yep.
All right. Let's see. Other news. Matt Borland, Clifford Turner, both reinstated by NASCAR after completing the Road to Recovery program. Not really a whole lot to go on there.
No,
but
it
just
sounds
worth
like,
mentioning.
I mean,
So,
they got, Borland was, he missed 3 races?
something like that. Yeah.
So not bad.
So we
So
didn't.
he's back behind the box of the 13.
Yeah, we didn't cover it real heavy when he was suspended, but there you go. We go Roval racing this weekend.
We're excited, man.
This is a little different than last year. Last year we had no idea what to expect.
It was exciting.
We kind of felt like it could be a complete disaster. We kind of felt like it might be successful.
I cannot believe it's been a year since.
I know. And now it's like, I'll tell you what, this has been on my radar all season.
Yep.
Can't wait for it.
Yep.
I was, cautiously optimistic last year.
I've been watching all the iRacing videos. of
Oh
people.
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the new we have a new chicane on the backstretch, which should give us another passing zone.
Yep. Slows cars down a little bit.
Yep, so that'll be cool. We won't get the spectacular crashes in practice like we had last
No,
year.
the jumping of the turtles. Yeah, that
Right.
was.
Well, there's still turtles to jump.
There are still turtles. Yes. Yes. Hopefully they don't hit him as hard as they. Well, I enjoyed the Bubba Wallace crash myself.
Yeah, it was entertaining. So yeah, Roval this weekend. I get the first pick, James, and I am going to just say it's going to be a sweep, man. I'm going Martin
You're
Truex
gonna take
Jr. for the
the
win.
round sweep.
Got to go
Who's-
for the round sweep.
Didn't Logano sweep? What round did he sweep one year?
Has there been a sweep? I couldn't remember if there'd been a sweep or not.
I can't recall. I thought Logano did
You
it.
may be right, actually.
Logano swept like the round of 12 or something.
You could be
that one
right.
Time. Anyway, that's a good pick.
Yeah,
that's a good pick.
Yeah, I mean, he ran so well there last year. He's also great on road courses. This isn't a road course, but it is.
Yeah.
You got to go with Truex.
Yeah, he's going to be good.
I'm really curious to see where you go.
Part of me wanted to say Chase Elliott only because of how well he ran at Watkins Glen, but there's nothing like the Roval, so I can't just go off of past stats almost. Right. And Blaney, I know he won it last year. He's good. He's a good road course racer. But he kind of lucked into it a little bit. Man, I don't know. You've got Truex, and I really wish I could have taken Truex.
I was wondering if I stole that from you.
Yeah, you know who I'll take? Kind of a little bit of a risk, I guess, but I'll go Brad Keselowski. I'll tell you, he's my second choice. Because Brad ran really well in this race last year. He overcooked it going in the turn and caused a big his
wreck.
controller disconnected as as the meme goes, right?
Right. But he ran well here last year. Not to mention his teammate won the race last year.
Yep. Remember how good that battle was between him and Larson?
Yeah.
Nearing the end of that race.
Yeah.
They were just so good.
Seriously, I don't want to give away my fantasy picks, but I actually already picked this week for this weekend.
Yeah. Don't do what I did. Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I have Keselowski as my second starter because he ran well here.
He's going to be good.
And he's not going to make that same mistake again this year either.
No, he'll be good. He's going to be good. I don't know if he's going to win this thing, but I like Brad here. Just to even have a good day, I think he'll be solid.
Yeah, I was going to look back at last year's stats really quick here. So where did Brad end up? He ended up way back.
Yeah, because of that crash.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski led 29 laps. So Kyle Larson led 47.
Kyle Larson was really good. I was leaning towards him. I can't pick him every week, though, and I'm tired of him.
He led 16 laps last year.
I'm tired of him not winning for me.
Yeah.
Come on, dang it, dude.
Larson led 16 laps.
No, he was good. I really thought he was going to win
Blaney.
the race.
I mean, Blaney led 16 laps.
Oh, Blaney, yeah. Maybe he didn't really luck into it. I mean, it got wonky at the end, obviously.
Kurt Busch is the only one. Kurt Busch led 7 laps. Martin Truex Jr. led 5 laps. So, and then Paul Menard led 2. And Ricky Stenhouse led 2.
I remember that.
So, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Larson would be a good pick, too. All right. Dark Horse, James, you just going to take DiBenedetto?
You might have to take him.
Yeah?
I don't know.
Who are you going to take?
Let me see. What about... Yeah, I'll take him.
Now I have to remember, who did I pick as my other non-playoff driver? Oh, I picked Jimmy Johnson as my other non-playoff driver. I'm telling you my whole fantasy lineup.
That's
right
all right.
now.
Do your thing, man.
But I went Jimmy because Jimmy did so well last year there too.
One guy I do always like on road course, I think I always bring this up, but Michael McDowell is always pretty decent at road course racing.
Yeah, I'm going to go Chris Buescher.
Chris Buescher's good. Last year he was he had the sign stuck to the back of his car, remember?
That's right. That's right. He did. All right. Fantasy League, I already mentioned that. James, I was so excited because I knew I did good, and although I did have Martin Truex on my bench instead of starting, and then frickin' James beat me.
See, when I pick my team, I win. That's just the way it goes. After last week's gaffe, I still cannot believe I didn't pick my team.
I know, man.
Race.
You'd be golden right now.
I am so upset that I just pretty much eliminated myself. But
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I got the win. I don't know how it happened, but
I'm trying to pull it up right now because I did look at it earlier. James with the win. I came in second. Who was after that, James? I don't have it in front of me right now. I'm trying to get to it.
I am getting it right now. You know what else? I'll filibuster for a second. I didn't pick a playoff champion.
That's pretty bad.
It's because I missed that first week. It ruined everything.
That's all right.
Gosh.
I did pick a playoff champion, but it's going to be wrong now.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so you were second, and then Ranger was third, Freight Train fourth, Hurricane Ditka. You guys were all pretty close. Scoters and then Justin.
That's the problem is every time I do well, everybody's close.
We're all right there. You only lost to me by 3 points. So
Ranger's still our points leader, 48-92. Justin 713, Freight Train 295.
That's a good battle there for second.
Hurricane Ditka, Smoky Comeback, which is James. I'm hanging back there in sixth place. And then Scoters is back behind me. I don't think Scoters is catching me.
No.
So
no, you and me are still, fifth spot's up for grabs. Fourth spot's up for grabs.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're catching the top three though. Those guys are a different area code.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, Rangers got 99 points on second place, so he's in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Rangers probably going to win this thing.
I think so. I don't think we came up with a prize or anything for this, right? It's just bragging rights.
Just bragging rights. That's all we do. And then I'll have an update for us on our playoff picks. You got some emails you said, so.
Yeah, did I not? I still didn't send them to you.
No, it's all right. We'll get it. Well, we have to wait till the third round anyway, so it was no rush.
I'll get those coming this week.
Yeah, we'll get those going. If you have Truex in the second round, you're good as everybody else right now.
Right.
So it's going to be that bottom of the bubble there. It's going to make or break some people's brackets, I think, a little bit.
I think so.
So,
James, you got any shout outs this week?
I do. I have two things.
Okay.
One's a shout out on a podcast I listen to. I've sent it to you a couple of times. It's the Dan Levitard, his South Beach Sessions.
Okay.
This week was Danica Patrick.
Oh, okay.
So
you're shouting at Danica Patrick, huh?
Yeah, she didn't talk anything about racing. Really, it was useless. But anyway, if you are a Danica fan, worth listening. And she's got her own podcast, Pretty Intense by Danica.
Interesting.
And then, so I have a funny story. I have to share this really quick.
All right.
So I was at Target looking for.
Oh yeah, you told me you were gonna.
I do. I was waiting for this one.
Okay.
So I was at Target and looking for a gift for my godson. It was his birthday last weekend. So I'm in the toy section, and I end up going down the aisle where all the diecasts are. I'm like, sweet. Get my hands going. Let's see what's at the diecast. I always like to look. I don't buy them anymore.
Yeah.
I haven't bought a diecast in years, but I still look at them all the time.
Same here.
Yeah. So is it NASCAR Authentic? Lionel still does the NASCAR Authentics diecast, right?
I think so.
Whatever. They do mystery packs now, and they're little tiny cars. They're not 1/64th or whatever. They're little ones.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. They're only $250 each. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll grab a couple. I don't know. I'm just kind of looking through, and I pick one up, and it's ripped open. I'm like, well, that takes the fun out of it because they're mystery packs. You don't know who's what.
Right.
There must have been 30 of these things, and each one was ripped open. I'm like, that kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
That's rough. Somebody was trying to look for. That's no fun.
I know, they must have been looking for their driver. And they do have on the back of the packages like what cars you could get. So they must have been looking for like a Dale Jr. because there was a couple of the Dale Jr. last ride cars.
That's funny.
I'm assuming. But each one was ripped open. I'm like, well, that's no fun. I was gonna have. I was actually maybe going to get one of these things.
So you know what could get me in trouble with the diecast thing? So I did buy some 1/64 scale cars over the last couple of years that I was hanging in the podcast studio when I had a podcast studio.
Yeah, and you had some for your boys.
Yeah. But the ones that would get me are these race win cars that they do now.
Yeah, they're good.
I want those. Every single one of them I want.
Yep.
And then I've thought about, okay, do I maybe just buy the ones for the races that I was at?
Yeah.
It's like, no, I can't open that can of worms because once it starts, it's going, man. I'm not going to stop.
Yeah. I did get the Kyle Larson. So you and I were at, I think we weren't covering that race, but it was Kyle Larson's first win. We were there, and they did a race win version, and I've got that one.
See, I want the 1/24 scale race win ones is what I want.
Yeah.
And
you want the big ones.
Yeah. And then
You're gonna be that's a whole can of worms, dude.
It's a big can of worms, I know, and I'm pretty sure you have a room here in this house that could give me a little glimpse into what kind of can of worms that could be.
It's a problem.
My stepdad has a bunch of these, and I could very easily get access. Like if I went to him tomorrow and said, "Hey, you mind if I take these and display them at my house?" He'd be totally down with it because they're just in his garage.
Yeah,
and I just know I have so much better things I could spend money on, like a new iPhone every year, that I can't do it.
My collection,
man, I want to.
My collection's missing one car. I wish I got the big version. Well, it's missing two. My collection's missing two. I want the 2011 championship race win.
Right.
I want that car somewhere. I'm going to find it someday, and I'm going to get it. I should have got it when it came out. I'm an idiot. And then I want Tony's Last Ride.
Right.
I want that car somewhere, too. But
how are you a Tony Stewart fan with die-cast cars and you don't have those?
I don't know. I stopped buying them.
I'm very disappointed in you.
Ellie
Are you really a Tony Stewart fan?
I am. Are
you sure?
I am.
I mean, you do still have a Tony Stewart sticker on the back of your truck.
I was becoming a parent during his last season, so that really, and this is during the Fanatics tent era when I went to buy stuff, and there was nothing in the dang tent. There was no retirement gear. I would have been all over it back in the day.
It's still not what it used to be.
No,
the
I've
trailers,
got some good ones in there, though.
The trailers aren't as good anymore either. It's basically the same thing.
I know.
It's so pared down now from what... I mean, it's amazing. One of the things I like to do at the track is now I'm up in the media center or in the press box, so I'm not down in the, the fan zone as much anymore. But I still like to go up and just kind of hang out there and just peek down the back and see what they have in the activation area. And man, is it empty now compared to what it used to be.
Yeah, I know, man. Then the heyday was what, 2006, 2007?
Yeah.
They really had it.
Back when they still had the speed stage and all that stuff too.
Oh, yeah,
it was so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have a shout out this week as well. I'm just going to probably just put this in the notes to do it every week, but I wanted to shout out Dale Jr.'s podcast this week. He's got Rick Hendrick on it this week. Great episode. Apparently he's going to have Richie Petty on in a few weeks.
No.
That's going to be another good one.
Damn.
So, yeah, just listen to Junior's podcast every week. It's gotten really good.
He's on a run right now.
It's so good. And they're I mean, the whole cast and crew there is great. It's worth a listen. I think it's one of the better ones out there. So, it's pretty much the only NASCAR one that I've been listening to lately.
Yeah, I get NASCAR and NBC. Jeff Gluck's out of my life. I don't get his podcast.
So. I am an Athletic subscriber, but I have to go into the Athletic app to listen, and I don't do it. No, I use my podcast app, and that's it because it's easy. Mm-hmm. I can talk to Siri and tell her to start playing, even though I don't ever do that, but I can if I want to.
Yeah.
I just want my podcast in that place. If Jeff's podcasts were there, I would listen to them, but I honestly, I think the Athletic's great. I love what they're doing, and I haven't even touched the app.
Yeah,
I'm probably not even logged in on my new phone. So
yeah, I wouldn't even know. I don't want to. I have too much other stuff going on.
Yeah,
I have my podcast I listen to, and if you're not where I'm going to be, I'm not going to go find it.
Yeah,
that's the way it is. I think a lot of people are that way though.
Yep, I think so. All right, James, where can they find you on social media if they want to yell at you for not reading the Athletic?
At James Cush on Twitter.
You can find me at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/TheSuperspeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. You can find the podcast on there, show notes that have links to some of the articles we talked about, coverage of different races that we've been at, that sort of thing. Anything you want is there. Again, thesuperspeedway.com. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts because iTunes is not going to exist anymore.
Yep.
I've been listening to podcasts and they keep saying
Apple
Podcasts.
It is Apple Podcasts now, yes.
So you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and SoundCloud.
Please rate and review, by the way.
Yes.
Please.
Thank you for adding that.
Yes.
Wherever you found us today, we hope you subscribe and continue to listen. And if you want to become a part of the show, help support us, become a patron at patreon.com/thesuperspeedway.
Wow.
There we go.
Nailed it.
We have the last sort of road course race of the year. We go Roval racing this weekend. Yes. We know what to expect this time. Hopefully it's just as exciting as last year.
It will be.
I don't see any reason why it won't be.
Yep.
So we'll talk about that next week. We'll be back to discuss that and break down the first round as we have our first elimination race with the Roval as well.
Yeah.
So we'll be back next week to talk about that. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.